More and more people that I know personally have started watching my videos. So I feel like I gotta choose my words real carefully right now. Hey boo, this is Nika and I am pleasantly unbothered. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another video. So today I thought we'd have a little chat. You know, I feel like we need to talk. All right, I've been thinking about making this video for probably months. I just haven't really found the right words to describe the feelings, y'all. And so this is basically my attempt at getting it out. Right? And I feel like a lot of you might be able to relate. So let me know, as always, you know, in the comments, let me know what you think, right? Let me know. So where do I start? So like many of you, I watch a lot of different plus size YouTubers. So that means, you know, hauls and lookbooks and body confidence content, things like that. And when I'm at home, I tend to watch it like on my TV. You know, the smart TVs now, they all have the YouTube app, so it makes it pretty easy to watch it. And so as I'm watching these hauls on my TV, if I had like a guest over or a family member or a friend that was around, I would notice that sometimes they would comment on the women on my TV, right? So these are YouTubers like me, like people that you might watch, and they would say things about how flattering things were on them or weren't on them. This was particularly during like the summer and bathing suit try-on haul type things. Things like,
doesn't she know she shouldn't be wearing that?
Or
she's got a cute face, but no, she should cover that up. She should cover up the rest of that.
Right? Or even
she's cute, but if she just lost her thighs or if she just lost the rest of that stomach, then she'd be a good, you know, a good look. Then she'd have a banging body.
And it would make me think like, okay, so first of all, if you're thinking this about the girls on my screen, and I'm motioning here because my TV's right there. If you're thinking this about the ladies on my screen, first of all, what do you think about me? Right? Aside from me being a friend or family member or what have you, I imagine if you have these thoughts about someone with a body that looks like mine, then what's stopping you from having those thoughts about me, right? And here I am prancing on somebody's screen, your screen maybe, you know, trying on clothes and all this. And I can only imagine some of the things people might say about me in your household, you know, or around you or just out there. But that's really not the point of this. I digress. It really doesn't matter what people say about me, right? What was interesting about it though was that these confident women, these confident plus-sized women who were just living their lives, just trying on clothes, just trying to give the rest of us some indication of what it might look like or feel like or recommendations or what have you, they're just minding their business and somebody comes along and tells them or says about them, she shouldn't be doing this, or what makes her think that that looks good, or what gives her the right to think that she gets to show that, and it's like, what? And the kicker here, wait for it, and I'm sure some of you already know this, some of these comments, or many of these comments, come from women who are plus size themselves. Women in our shoes, you know, women like us who are just trying to live our lives, who may or may not be on YouTube prancing around in clothes, but who's just trying to be their best self and be happy and look cute and feel good about themselves. And there's just people out there trying to tear them down. And I feel like, especially with the holidays right behind us, I know a lot of people spent more time with relatives or extended family members that might have some thoughts about their appearance or about where they are in life, about how much they've accomplished or not accomplished, about whether they're married yet or have kids yet or lost the weight yet or whatever the case is, all things that are not their business, by the way, okay? And it makes me sad because it just shows that the brainwashing runs so deep, you know, the fat shaming that is kind of built into our society and everything that we see, you know, it runs so deep that even people that look like me will have a problem with people who look like me living their best life. Like, what? What? Just Leave us alone. Let us try our little clothes on, okay? Nobody's bothering you. Nobody's, you know, like, why? Why? And one of my lovely subscribers, hey girl, you probably know who you are once I get to it. So she left a comment on one of my videos about the struggle of trying to hold on to the body positivity or the self-love or the self-worth that we're building up and working on every day, and having to deal with family members or friends who choose to constantly comment on it, and slowly their voice starts to replace your own voice in your mind, and you start to believe the things that they're saying to you, you know, like, oh, you'd be cute if you just lost this thing, you know. And I was told that by a dear cousin of mine. I distinctly remember it. I must have been like 14 years old, and she said something like, you know what, Nika, you got a banging body. All you got to do is lose this, this, and this, and you'll be perfect. And I remember thinking, like, really? That's it? Like, really? I can do this? You know, I can have that. And thinking back, it became something that was not a healthy way of thinking. And I know she meant no harm, but the last thing that any of us need to hear, especially as impressionable young girls or impressionable women or impressionable people, whatever, the last thing we need to hear is, you'd be perfect if you did this, you know, or you'd be better if you did this. Because then it makes us feel like we are less than, or we are not good enough already, you know, like we have a lot to work on in order to become worthy, or yeah, it makes me so sad. It makes me so sad. The thought that we can convince ourselves that we are not worthy until we get to this thing, that we cannot be loved until we get to this place, or we let the people around us convince us that we're not good enough until we do this thing. Whether it's until we get that degree in college, until we have a baby, until we find a man that wants to marry us. Don't get me started on that. You know, until we lose the weight, until we, whatever it may be. Even people close to us, people who claim to love us, people who may actually have love for us, but make these unsolicited remarks that kind of tear us down instead of building us up. And the crazy thing is that a lot of these comments and these hurtful statements come from a place that the person, you know, the person who's telling us these things, they think it's from a good place, you know, they think they're helping, they think they're toughening you up, or they're giving you tough love, or they're shaming you into changing, or they're just telling you the last little nugget that you need to get that man or to lose that weight, you know, even though you didn't ask. You didn't ask, girl, did you? You didn't ask. But they think they're being helpful, and we think that they're our loved ones, and we think that it must be okay for them to say these things, or that we have to allow them to say these things, or we have to put up with them saying these things. But in reality, we really don't. And using the YouTube videos as an example, at first, when I would hear the people around me, people that are loved ones, if you're in my house, I care for you in some way, you know, hearing them say some of these things, well, I guess I should backtrack. First, after thinking like, what do you think of me, you know? Then I started to think like, what makes you think it's okay for you to say this around me? You know, like, this is my space. I look more like the person on the television than I look like you, probably, right? Unless you're also plus size, in which case we both look like the person on the TV. So what makes you think it's okay for that to come out of your mouth? Something that's either shaming or hurtful or judgmental or what have you. What makes you think this is a safe space for that? And so after a while, I started calling people on it. Like when they're like,
oh, she shouldn't be wearing that. Doesn't she see that her belly's hanging out?
I'd say things like, yeah, but she's okay with it. So why does it bother you? You know, why are you so bothered by her belly hanging out? Now, I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not confrontational about it. But I'd say all this to let you know that it's okay to call people out on their stuff when it's something that is hurtful or that you just don't agree with. Especially if it's a comment about your life that they're making here. you know? And so if you do have a loved one who likes to comment on things that nobody asks them about, okay, or who's known for having no filter, you know, and telling it like it is and all this stuff, and they want to give you a piece of their mind about your life or about your body or about what you should do or about what you shouldn't do or about how you should live your life or any of the above, all the things, right? If it's something that is judgmental, hurtful, vicious, rude, disrespectful, any of those things, you can let them know that it's not okay for them to say those things. It's not okay for them to say those things to you. You can also decide that these are people that don't deserve to be in your life if it gets to that point, you know. I personally keep my circle very small, so that's both as far as friends go and my like close family members. I have a huge family. That's the story for another day. But a huge family, but there's only like a select group of the family members that I really rock with like that I'm really close with, that I have a relationship with and care to continue to foster a relationship with, even if we are at a long distance, you know. There are people that I care for, and then there are people that I could take it or leave it, you know. And sometimes the being connected by blood doesn't necessarily change that, you know. I gotta say, I gotta be selective with my energy. If there is a loved one of mine or someone who is kin to me or who shares my blood, who decides that they want to say hurtful things or they won't have a filter around me just because they think it's okay for them to say what they want, I can decide that it's not. Sorry, not sorry, right? Or I can love you from a distance. Or I can keep our interactions really, really short, in which case we both miss out on our relationship, but you probably miss out more than I do, if we're being honest. You know, because if you're feeding me negativity in our relationship of whatever kind, you know, friend, family, relative, loved one, significant other, what have you, then really I'm not really benefiting that much from this now, am I? Just saying. And what's even more sad is that a lot of these people are probably just projecting their own self-loathing type of feelings onto you. So if they have body issues, they see body issues in everybody around them. You know, if I think I'm fat and gross, then I think everybody that's fat is gross. That's just kind of how it works, you know? Or even if I'm slim and I think I got 10 pounds to lose, then I think everybody else got at least that to lose, because we're all holding each other to the standard of our own expectations, you know? And so if we are to believe all of the things that we're taught, you know, all of the myths that the diet industry feeds to us so that we'll want to buy into the industry and continue making them rich off of our self-hate. But that's a topic for another day, right? Okay. Or even the before and after pictures on those Instagram transformation pages, you know, where it's like, before I was gross, now I'm skinny and fit, you know, and it's like, if you let that sink in for long enough and you don't control what you're kind of absorbing from the world around us, whether it's the TV or YouTube or whatever media that's around you, it can sink in and it can start to poison even your own best intentions for yourself. So if you happen to have people around you who make you feel bad about the way you look, or about being single, or about not being educated enough, or about not having certain material things, or whatever it may be, if you have negative people in your life that are making you feel bad, you can make the choice to stay away from them. Don't give them the pleasure of having you in their life, if it comes to that, you know what I mean? Stand up for yourself, advocate for yourself, tune them out, love yourself anyway. Like, these are all things that kind of take a little bit of work, and it takes a little bit of backbone to do. So it might take a little work depending on how much backbone you got, boo. You know, I feel like we all have varying degrees of it. I didn't have much of a spine before, and I remember letting certain things sink in, even from my dearest loved ones, people who are still in my circle to this day, but comments from my childhood that they thought were, you know, joking or playful or whatever, they really sunk in and they kind of scarred me for a long time, you know. And it's only after working through those things that I'm able to see why it happened, why these people who actually I know care about me felt like that was something they could say, and felt like it was something that I would brush off and not take to heart, or, you know, that it wouldn't have as much of a lasting impression as it did. And again, they don't see it as coming from a hurtful place. And so some people I was able to continue a very successful relationship with in that way. And some people I'm not able to, you know, either because they're inappropriate or they're just not contributing to my life in a positive way, or whatever the case may be. And that's all okay. And now that I know who I really am, and I'm discovering more of myself every single day, and it feels so amazing, y'all. It feels so amazing. Won't you join me if you haven't already? Let's do it, girls, you know? Now that I'm in this place, I feel like I've learned to prioritize and kind of really understand what deserves my energy and what doesn't, and what I need to take to heart and what I don't, and what I can brush off like, yeah, okay, leave me alone. Yeah, no, I don't care what you think. I don't care if you like my outfit or if you think it's flattering. Nobody asked you, and it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter, you know? So I've learned to kind of focus on what does matter, focus on the people who matter. If the people who matter to me are the people saying hurtful things, I let them know, I call them out on it, I hold them to a higher standard, all these things, and we build a relationship from there. Or we decide that changes have to be made if our relationship is going to continue on, you know, whether that's cousin and cousin, or brother and sister, or mother and daughter, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case is. You know, we got to stand up for ourselves and prioritize our self-worth, and really cherish the people in our lives who support our happiness and who support self-growth and self-awareness and all of that, but in a way that's not shaming or hurtful or any of those things. And there is a researcher named Brené Brown who I can't get enough of her. I can't get enough of her stuff, okay? She's done a few TED Talks. She's written a few books. She's interviewed with Oprah, like all these different things. I'll leave a few links below if you're interested in seeing any of those chats. And her message is just so powerful, which is why I can't get enough of her. And as far as critics go, the advice that she had was to first kind of understand who the critics are and where they're coming from, because that's important, right? Second, understand that you can't always control that there will be critics in your life or people who don't like what you're doing. But then third, kind of become comfortable with communicating with them. And so that's what I meant about really standing up for yourself. So letting them know that, hey, I hear you. You know, I hear what you're saying. I understand that you don't think that this looks good. I understand that you feel like I need to lose weight. I hear what you're saying. And I understand, and if you really want to take it there, you know, I understand that you've struggled with your weight your whole life too. And so I understand why you might feel like there's no way that I could be happy the way I am, or in the body that I have, or even while trying to make positive changes in my life or what have you. I understand all those things. However, just know that I'm not buying into it. You know, I'm not going to let myself take that on as something that's hurtful to me, or that's something that I believe, or as a way that I need to live my life just because it's what you feel. And so I can understand your feelings. I might even be able to respect it, but then I also expect you to respect the way I feel, and to keep some of those comments to yourself perhaps, and to understand that not everyone feels the same way that you do. Boom. Boom, bang, pow. Okay. So anyway, I don't want to talk your ear off any longer, so I will end it there. But like I said, let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you know the kind of people I'm talking about? Are you thinking that these might be steps that you could use with some of these people that might be in your life? Let me know, you know, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit the thumbs up button. It does matter, and it just takes a second. It's like, just hit it real quick. Also, if you wouldn't mind taking a minute to let me know what kind of video you'd like to see next, right here in this poll, just a clickety click. And if one of the I don't know what that was, and if what you want to see is not one of the choices there, just let me know in the comments what kind of videos you're interested in, or if there's a topic you think we need to chat about, you know, let me know. And I hope I'll see you in my next video. Bye.